Season greetings, everyone. How are we all? Well, I'm joined here this evening with David Polden, who you'll recognise. David, who is currently Tier 4 in London. How's it going, David?
Oh, living the dream, Martin. Nice bit of taste of communism.
Well, we can't be getting too used to that, can we? But the way it's looking like it, next year we could well be under the big boot of communism. The way things are turning out now, as we've seen locally from Boxing Day, there's going to be even harsher restrictions going on for lockdown. And I just wanted to really gauge your thoughts as a Londoner on where you think this is all heading.
To communism. To be honest, Martin, it's heading in the wrong direction.
Mm,
We're seeing our prime minister, who's shutting down the country. He's crashing the economy
mm,
over a virus that has a 99.7% survival rate.
mm.
Now we're being told we can't have our family and friends over for Christmas dinner. However, I can go outside now in Tier 4 in London and I can get on a bus. I can get on a tube. I
Mm.
can use public transport and I can sit next to a group of random strangers who are sneezing and coughing, but I can't have my own family over for dinner.
Well, that's just completely normal, isn't it? Completely normal. And you touched on some stats there as well, actually, about the virus. What we do know from NHS England is that the average death age is 82, when actually the life expectancy in England is 81. So you're more likely to die of generally of old age, I guess, rather than this virus. But what we've seen as well, there's been lots of stats kicking around, but one really important one I just want to quickly bring up is the fact that NHS England reported that back in November, just 1,666 people died directly from the virus, and just four of these were under 20. Do you think we're dealing with things in proportion here?
Well, no, I don't. I think really what we should be doing is we should be shielding the vulnerable. We should
Mm,
be shielding the elderly and those with, underlying health issues. The people who are really going to be affected by the virus, really. It's unfair to, say to the likes of myself and yourself, you can't go to work
mm,
with the virus. As I was just saying, it's a 99.7% survival rate. Unless if you have an underlying health issue, unless if you're above the age of 80 by the looks of it,
mm.
you're pretty sound to crack on. And, I think it's very unfair to crash the economy. And you've got to ask the big question is why would they want to crash the economy?
Exactly.
Why would they want to shut everything down? You hear all these conspiracy theorists talking about the Great Reset and, what it's all about. And, you can't really argue with them, Martin, at the moment,
No.
can you?
That's it. Everything they seem to be saying that was laughed about, he seems to be coming to fruition very scarily. But what we have seen, as you mentioned as well, these local businesses are being absolutely crippled, probably never be able to open again. These people getting money got from this furlough scheme. God knows where the money's coming from to pay for this, but I know our great grandchildren will probably still be paying for it. But what we'll probably see next year is mass unemployment and masses of people going onto universal credit. And we are heading seriously for communism here. People should be very afraid about this. Have you seen that, particularly in your local area?
No, but I did see an article online with regards to, I think it was the Labour Party, or it might have been Plaid Cymru, but I think it was the Labour Party, was pushing for an income, like
Mm,
an active income for people in Wales. So they get a standard income from the government. So it's like communism through the back door. I
mm,
mean, what we're trying to do here, we're just trying to make sure our local businesses survive. So rather
mm,
than go to Sainsbury's, if my local shop, I'll pop over to Ranjit's and I'll go over there, and he's a lovely fellow, and I'll say to him, I'll get a few beers from there. Rather than go to Sainsbury's, he sells beer. I would get a loaf of bread. I'll buy a loaf of bread from there. You
mm.
know, buy the milk, go there and give him the money. So local
Exactly.
survive. And that's what it's all about. The minute we neglect our communities, the minute
Mm,
we neglect the local businesses, it's all going to fall apart. A lot of people are just shopping online.
yeah.
The high streets are falling apart. I was over in Wimbledon a couple of weeks ago, and I walked through a high street, Wimbledon High Street, from South Wimbledon up. I must have found about 15, 20 places that have been closed down, big signs outside saying
Mm,
let for building for sale at the freehold or whatnot. The high streets are
yeah.
disappearing. Businesses won't reopen. So many pubs will not reopen after
Sadly.
lockdown. You
Exactly,
know,
and what you touched on there actually is you mentioned about the likes of Sainsbury's, but we've heard like Amazon absolutely getting really, really rich from this, and debatable where they pay enough tax as it is. All our money's been going off to these big, big companies in this what appears to be globalization. So they're stamping on all the independent small traders. It's clearly an economical attack, in my view, and people are going to become totally reliant on the likes of Amazon and all the big supermarkets, and there'll be nothing left, and we'll be dictated to by all these once they start buying up each other. Then we'll have some sort of an order where it will just there'll only be Amazon we can buy everything from, and then of course we are facing serious communism. People need to start waking up to this. And the other thing as well, they're trying to push out this vaccine. But why do people who are relatively young and healthy, why do they need to risk having this vaccine when the full side effects are not known? There's clearly something more sinister going on here. It hasn't been tested enough. I mean, you can't just simply test something that rigorously in such a small space of time. So once again, though, we see the pharmaceuticals making lots of money as they do with all illnesses. They seem to thrive off other people's suffering. And can I ask you, David, will you be having the vaccine?
nah. Plain and simple, no, I won't. And the reason being is, I've been a bit ill recently. I lost my sense of smell, I've lost my sense of taste. I've been a couple of weeks been ill, but I'll stay indoors. I'll self isolate. I'll stay away from people. I'll do what I need to do, and I'll just crack on. And that's what people need to do. It's just common sense, isn't it? If there's a virus going about, it's that bad. You just stay indoors, stay out of the way,
Exactly.
and then go about your business. When it's over, go back to work, do what you got to do. But that's the thing. Something sinister, like you said. It seems like something sinister is going on because they're pushing a vaccine that has a 90% effective rate,
Mm.
but your
Well,
immune system is 99.7% effective.
exactly. It just doesn't add up, isn't it? And the government themselves said it doesn't guarantee that it will prevent you from getting the virus or indeed pass it on, just like the masks that people wear. There's no real science behind that. It just seems to be making people comply with these things. But what really does worry me is that now they're talking about these health passports. So if you want to go to the football or whatever, or the pub or whatever, they will not let you in unless you can show that you've got had the vaccine. I mean, this reminds me of echoes of like 1930s Germany when the Jews had to wear yellow stars to say, that they were different. And will we be treated as outcasts if this continues? Do you think we're heading that way, David?
Can I see your papers, please? That's where we're heading to. That's where it's going to. These apps, and obviously there's going to be a black market for it. People are going to be manipulating the apps and doing whatever they can. A lot of people aren't going to be wanting to comply with this or whatever. But, it seems they're going for like a full-scale control over people. Your every thought, your every movement being tracked, everything you do, everywhere you go. You can't go here, you can't go there. Yeah, right. It's pretty much a reflection of communism.
Mm. And what's really
Modern
strange...
day communism.
Well, exactly. And what's really strange, though, is things like in Wuhan, where this was supposedly originated from, everything's gone back to normal. They're having pool parties and have a great time. I think perhaps we should move there. It seems like life's pretty much gone back to normal there. But where was all the hoo-ha over all the other flu seasons? A few years ago, there was a big spike in flu deaths, but we didn't go through all this. So why is it all just coming about now? These are serious questions that we need to be asking ourselves. And people need to grow a backbone and actually start doing their own research and looking into these things, Not wait and see what the BBC's going to say. because they receive funding off the likes of Bill Gates, and so they're gonna be playing to their tune. So the media are a big problem, and people really, really, really should do their own research before even considering taking this. And they should be asking these fundamental questions, because the way I see it, 2021 is going to be a hell of a lot worse year than this is. There's something very rotten going on. Or are you more hopeful than I, David? Perhaps you are.
No, I think there is something sinister going on, as you just pointed out there. Wuhan and the rest of China are still operating. They're all ready for business, but the rest of the world is all closing down and shutting its borders, and closing its economies and locking its people away, whilst China is still operating. I mean, there's only one for me. I mean, how can you have a virus that breaks out in Wuhan? We've got China's, I think, it's the biggest population in the world, and they managed to contain it within Wuhan in their province, and didn't spread to anywhere else in China, but they affected the rest of the world. And now they're over it, and they're back to normal, operating, but the rest of the world are suffering.
It's bonkers.
I think we're going to get told, until we have communism. Yeah,
exactly. We're heading that way, and we've seen that in the United States actually, with all this going on with the elections, allegations of all sorts going on out there. The heavy boot of communism is falling here. I mean, it seems we're on the other side of the Berlin Wall now, and people should be worried about this. If they don't start worrying about it now, then it'll be too late by the time they do. So people need to grow a backbone and not allow this to happen. This is for our kids, this is, and our future. We should be free to enjoy our lives now. And the way things are going, when we're cornered, it'll be too late. And people will just comply. And they've basically broken everyone down as it is.
And I think, Martin, you've got all these politicians, and they're telling us, oh, you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't do that. But we're forever seeing them breaking the rules. The would-be dictator, the dwarf from the north, old Nicholas Sturgeon, in a pub, standing up, not wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
She's in her own rules that she put in place with the SNP party. And, we've seen these jabs that, these politicians are pretending to take. Recently, we just seen Sadiq Khan getting a flu jab, and the camera shows that the needle's still got the bloody nib on the end of it.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's a lot more clever than we give him credit for. But you're absolutely right, though. The hypocrisy of all this is what one of the biggest problems are. It's them do as I say, not as I do. I mean, we normally see that with like Labour politicians, but when you're seeing doctors, celebrity doctors and the like, blatantly floundering their own rules, then it's something weird is going on. Even they don't believe it. But it's the state of the times, really. But I believe this latest lockdown is really cruel over the Christmas period. Really, really cruel. The one time when we thought it'll all be over and people could now go back to their lives, enjoy their Christmases with their families, and it's been snatched away cruelly again. And these people who believe that they're doing it for the good of us, they need their heads a massive, massive wobble with these people coming out and attacking others for actually just putting facts in front of them. It's always the lefties, isn't it? You give them facts and it's still not good enough for them. And I know yourself, David, you experience plenty of this.
Well, that's the thing. Once you provide facts, then the lefties turn to insults. And you become a conspiracy theorist, or you become a racist, or a xenophobe, or whatever name they want to throw into the argument. And that's pretty much the bottom line of it. Now we've got these fact-checking websites. You say this and it gets fact-checked. I know yourself. You've told me before. You've had things that you've had to contest with these fact-checking websites. They've said it's fake news, and then they've gone, it wasn't.
8 times.
Yeah, and we've seen that online with various videos with CNN when they set up a certain video I won't mention about, probably get banned for, but it was to do when we had with some terrorist attacks, and they made a fake crowd. This was filmed, showing them doing it, but yet these fact-checking sites said that was fake. The video has since been removed. by YouTube and whatnot. But we know it wasn't fake because we've seen the full video of CNN setting up this protest in London. So
Wow.
these fact sites as well are controlled by the left, controlling the narrative.
Mm. And that's it. And they're happy to they let you say whatever you want to say as long as they agree with it. And again, where have we heard this in history for? And if we do not learn from our history, we are doomed to repeat it, sadly. But anyway, I just want to say thank you very much, David, for joining me. I know it's been a difficult time, particularly living in London with all the lockdown and the tier things, and even your own business has suffered because of this disgraceful attack on our economy. But I just want to wish you and your family all the best for Christmas, and hopefully we'll catch up for that beer soon.
Definitely, Comrade Costello. We will do.
Cool. You take care, David, and we'll see all you guys soon.